Do you know what a Russian Turbo-Patriot is? I bet you don't. Chances are you don't. To know that, you must live inside Russia or be immersed in to what's going on in Russia right now. Because Turbo-Patriots are very recent phenomenon. Turbo-Patriots are people who are a threat to everyone, to Russia, to Russian people, to Ukraine and Ukrainians, to the West, to everyone. Turbo-Patriots are even a threat, a big one, to Russian government. Russian Turbo-Patriots are sort of a genie that's been let out of the bottle and no one knows how to shove it back inside that bottle. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you important news updates that explain what's really happening in Russia today. What you will not find on this channel is, as usual, lies, BS, or propaganda. What you will find on this channel is common sense, logic, truth, and emotions, because I am a human being. Inside Russia is where usual Russia explained by the unusual Russian. For the first 30 minutes or so, I give you my daily message and then invite everyone to join live stream chat, to converse, ask questions, give me feedback. I would love that. Thank you so very much for coming today, for giving me another chance to watch, listen to me. Thank you. I really appreciate you here. First things first, I do not consider Turbo-Patriots, these people I'm talking about, real patriots of Russia. I consider them the enemies of Russia. As of real patriots, I see them plenty here in Tashkent. You want to see real patriots? Come to Tashkent, Almaty, Yerevan, Astana, Tbilisi, Baku. Come to Turkey, Bali, Europe, Argentina, Thailand, Sri Lanka, to all those places that Russians who fled Russia have gone to. You will find us plenty in those places. And for the others, well, who are Turbo-Patriots and why are they so important? I am dedicating entire stream to them. Well, plain and simple. They are Russians who support the war, who hate Ukrainian, who want Ukraine to be destroyed as a country, and fiercely criticizing Russian government for being not effective and too soft, plain and simple soft, in this war. When the Russian government paints a rosy picture of things to all of us, Turbo-Patriots paint the picture black. That is actually a real picture, but they don't lie. You heard me right. Now let's look into the situation a little bit. Now, again, first things first. Russia is the country that started attacking Ukraine and killing Ukrainians on February 24th, 2022. Russia started the war. Putin addressed us all personally and took personal responsibility for this action. Why? Why did he do that? He made the decision, not anyone else. Although this is not just Putin's war, this is all Russians' war, this is our war, Putin is responsible. For making this decision. But why did he make it? Well, basically, there are 1,000,001 reasons. 1,000,000 are all fake reasons that at some periods of time were given to Russian populace by Russian government, and none of them were true. Those reasons were engineered to lead people into believing them, But those engineers did a pretty lousy job. Well, two first reasons that were given to us where Russia started what it was calling the special military operation in the past. Now everyone is calling the war. So the first two reasons were given were to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine. They're very stupid reasons, but on top of them, they are lies, okay? I've explained many times why. No Nazis in Ukraine. Ukraine is a sovereign country, and then who is Russia to demilitarize it, whatever. If Russia did anything, it militarized Ukraine up to yin-yang. Then a million other reasons followed when this denazification and demilitarization collapsed, so to speak. The reasons like Russia is to protect people of Donbass. Russia is to fight NATO. Russia is to protect Russian world conservative Christian values. Russia is to protect its sovereignty. Russia is against everyone. Everyone wants Russians dead, erased from the map of the world. All lies. I could make an entire stream dedicated just to that, naming and discussing those lies. I'm sorry, not lies, of course. Not lies. Reasons. The reasons, to discuss those reasons given by the Russian government. What I was thinking, lies. Oh, come on. But I don't want to do that. The true reason why Russia made the choice to wage a war, start a war on Ukraine, is one, and it's a very simple reason. Just one simple reason. I'll explain. It's easy to understand. Ukraine was slipping away from under influence of Russian government. Ukrainians have made a choice to be with Europe. Україна – це Європа. And Putin absolutely hated that. He couldn't let it happen. Ukraine slipping from under mafia rule? Impossible. It needed to be stopped. And he decided to stop it. He decided to strike and replace Ukrainian government with a puppet one, and but things did not go as planned. And now, 13 months later, we're having the biggest catastrophe, catastrophe that Russia has ever seen in its history. I am thinking that this catastrophe is even worse than World War II. You know why? Because this is just the beginning. And what's going to follow and happen to Russia, we will consider it the good time, Now, what does it have to do with Turbo-Patriots, those reasons, Now let me tell you a little bit about how Russian society is split into groups right now. The groups differ by the views of members of the groups and their numbers. Remember, I've been telling you, I told you in many streams, beginning from stream number 2, that there was a chasm in Russia and it's been growing. Now, there are groups, two major groups. One is those who are against the war with Ukraine, and the second group is the ones who are pro-war with Ukraine, supporting the war. Now, those are against the war in Ukraine are a minority. I'd say the group is about 30% of those who remain in Russia and about 100% of those who escaped. Now, this group is also divided into smaller groups. In my opinion, there are two kinds of Russians who oppose the war. The majority is silent. They just think to themselves, they keep it to themselves, and they just do not support it. The minority is the ones who stand up and do something about it. And you know what? I am proud to say that I belong to the ones who stand up and act. Out of the things that I've done in my life, this, what I'm doing right now, what I've been doing for the past 13 months, I am the most proud about. The second group, the majority, the ones who support the war, I estimate them from 70 to 60%. They are divided into the groups as well. And three major groups. The biggest one is the majority, those who support what Russia is doing to Ukraine due to brainwashing. But they're not really violent, okay? Some of them even feeling bad for some things, okay? But they still support Russian government. It's just these people, all of a sudden, they have lost ability to think critically for some reason. Another group, minority, the ones who are wavering and losing trust of Russian government. And this group is actually growing. And among that majority who support the war, the third group, as a very small group that I call Turbo-Patriots. They are violent, active, hateful warmongers, a real menace to society. Their slogans are something like this: we aren't doing enough. We either lose or die. Ukraine must be destroyed. The government is full of thieves, meaning the Russian government. We are the real patriots of Russia. Putin is afraid of the West. We must declare the total war, mobilize everyone, and crush Ukraine. Kill all the Ukrainians. You know, this is what these people are up to. They, many of them are very active. Most are very vocal, and many realize the true situation that's happening on the front lines in Ukraine. Basically, they are loudly saying that Russia is losing. Yeah, they're saying that. They're saying that the Russian government is assessing the situation inadequately and completely wrong. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. Just have a little bit of critical thinking. That's all, They are small in numbers, but nevertheless, they are a force to be reckoned with. They understand everything, and I and you, along with me, will understand. They understand the catastrophe that is happening in Russia. What they are different from us is they are pro-war and we are pro-peace. We, and I think most of you, have the same opinion as I do. I think that's what's happening in Ukraine is a tragedy of cosmic scale. And I want it to be stopped as soon as possible. They, on the contrary, think that if it is stopped, then Russia will lose, then Russia will fall apart, then Russia will be destroyed. You know what? And they're partially right. But you know what? Russia is the one to blame for it. Not the West, not anybody else, because Russia made the decision. So they want to go all the way out. They are real force. And they even threaten Putin because of who they are. They are loud, angry, full of energy, and ready to act. They are unlike that majority of people who sit on their couches and thinking to themselves, I support. No, these people are ready to act. They're revolutionaries. Remember, I told you many times that Putin, in general, Russia with him is in Zugzwang. It's a position in chess where every move will put player into a worse situation, in a worse position. Remember, I told you he is between a hard place and a rock. Well, the rock is the Ukrainians that will start a counteroffensive soon. In the hard place, what's the hard place? That's right. There are the Turbo-Patriots. If not for Turbo-Patriots, I think that Putin would have withdrawn troops, Russian troops out of Ukraine, and majority of Russians, those who are silent, those who are inactive, those who are weak, they would buy it like they buy everything else, like they bought the invasion of Ukraine, you know. Putin and propaganda would come up with something sugar-coated to say, you know, oh, we reached all the goals. Look, we denazified, demilitarized, and now we're stronger than ever. Something like that. The Russians would buy it. But not Turbo-Patriots. Not these people. They will not forgive. And they will not forget. They don't forget anything. They're very vocal. You go on to YouTube, you will see their channels. Many of them. Somehow they get out into the public space. You can see them on Telegrams, you can see them on YouTube, you can see them everywhere. Despite they are a small group, they're mighty, they're vocal. They're like burning fire that incinerates everything that it touches. They're very dangerous to Putin and to Putin's regime. You know, but who are they? What are these people? Is this a special, you know, part of the Russian society? You know, commandos or something? No. The Turbo-Patriots, they come from different walks of life. Uneducated, educated, different age, different professions, blue collar, white collar. Believe it or not, I saw even school teachers, women, calling Russia to fight until the last Ukrainians. School teachers, for goodness sake, school teachers, women, they're, you know, better than men, they're softer than men, they're more usually kind-hearted than men, and gosh, what unites the Turbo-Patriots is, in my opinion, and I think it's a widespread opinion, is that they are not happy about their lives. They are deeply dissatisfied with who they are. They are full of hate. Before this war, they couldn't let their emotions, they hate, out. There was no reason big enough. There was no direction to go, okay? Perhaps they kept it inside. Perhaps they would spill it out on the people around them, you know. In the society, well, I think you've seen examples of people like that everywhere. They're called toxic people. And the war of Ukraine became their salvation. It gave them the reason to exist. Finally, they could apply their hate to do something. They could apply hate to a direction they could move into. You know, you don't need much justification for that. I think it's just a sparkle. You see something in this anger and wrath is inside of you, and that's it. You're all in. You become fire. And those people are burning inside with one hell of a fire. I think it's a fire of hate. They are very dangerous to everyone. Actually, I think they aren't that dangerous to Ukraine as they aren't on the front lines, and they will not be. They're somewhere deep inside Russia, but they're dangerous to Russia more because they're radicals. They are destructive. They think that the goal justifies the means. They turn everything they touch into ashes. And that's who Russia's Turbo-Patriots are. If I were Putin, you know, I'd be afraid of them. Because at the end, it'll be not the Ukrainians who will knock on the doors of Putin's office in the Kremlin. It's going to be either his close friends, the generals, or what is more likely, a bunch of Turbo-Patriots, a crowd of Turbo-Patriots. You know, folks, what really scares me is what's going to follow, what's going to come after Putin's regime, after he's gone. These people, they're active, they're burning with fire, they are very motivated, they're ready to move. They will outrun, despite being such a small group, they will outrun those Russians who are sitting on the couches in front of TV and, drinking and considering themselves like, supporting the government, This small group of people is passionate with their hate. And once Putin is gone, they will get to the power one way or another. And that'll be a real threat to both Russia and to the entire world. Thank you so much. This has been my message for today. This is what really concerns me and I've shared with you. Thank you for coming and giving me a chance, watching, listening. I would like to turn on the comments and ask you to give me feedback of what you think of my message. You agree, disagree? I will try to answer all the questions. Thank you so very much. And words of support would also be very welcomed and very nice. Before I turn the stream, I'd like to ask you a couple things. First is, would you please consider helping me with my cause to spread the message by making reposts in your social media accounts? And the second is, would you please consider joining my Telegram group called Inside Konstantin's Russia? The link will be in the description below the stream. And if you liked what you just heard, would you please consider pressing like button and signing up to become subscriber of the channel so you won't miss any further updates. Thank you again, and the chat is on. If you're not seeing anything, just please press the refresh button in your browser and you will see them. Lorna and Mommy, howdy. Mods, somehow Lorna and Mommy are always number one. Thank you very much for coming back, watching my back again. Thank you. Bob, S, Harry Potter, Namira, and Blackhead, thank you so much as well. The best mod team that exists on internet. And the usual suspects, thank you so much for coming, giving me another chance. Really means a lot to me. Would you please if you want to ask me something or write something I want me to notice, put it in caps and put inside Russia after that sign so I see it in large orange box highlighted. Thank you. Asma, greetings from Latvia. Sending my love from Tashkent to Latvia. It's always a pleasure to see a person from the Baltic states here. Warms my heart. Thank you so much. The usual suspects, howdy. Most of you are here. I see Pentium 100 megahertz from The Baltics as well. Lithuania, that's right. Guy L, what the fudge? Who gets Putin's nuke button? Nuke is a different discussion, a different topic. You know, I doubt anyone will get nuke's button, okay? But then let's discuss it another time. Sorry, but I wasn't listening. There is a woman talking in my ear. Can you repeat the whole thing? Max? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Just give me a second here, you know. Remillion5 from France, howdy. Bob. Black Ed. Sam K, howdy. Multidaki, hello. First question from Nicky87S. How many people do you think are publicly supporting but not in private? I think most of the elites, most of wealthy, well, not wealthy, rich people, they openly support, but in private, they do not, because what has happened has taken a huge hit out of their wealth, out of their lives. They cannot. Well, if before the whole world was their playground, now it's just very few countries like United Arab Emirates. That's it. Where else can they go with their yachts and stuff? Thailand, perhaps, but I'm not sure. Anyway, regular people, I think they are same in private and in public, because they have no reason to hide something. They don't care. Okay, so that's the answer to your question. Bruno Condor, howdy howdy, from Ghent, Belgium. Pie in the chair, although terrifying message. I'm sorry. I unload what I have right here on my heart. Okay, I no more, no less. I do not paint it black. I do not paint it white. What I feel, what I know, what I analyze, I try to share. Susanna, thank you so much. Sending prayers and love from New Jersey. Spreading truth, and you're a huge patriot. Thank you. Thank you so much, Susanna. I consider myself a patriot. I love Russia. What is going on inside of that country right now is not Russia. Okay? I love different Russia. I don't want to come back to this Russia, what is now, ever again. Elsha, stop the world. I want to get off. Hey, that makes two of us. Me too. Theodore from Scotland. Steve Hayes. So far, so good. When people ask me, oh, how are you these days? Are you well? And I tell them, you know what? So far, so good. As well as I can be under these circumstances. Mon Capitan, thank you so much. Why are they called Turbo-Patriots? I know Turbo folk from the Balkans. Any relation? No relation. I call them Turbo-Patriots. That's a term that was brought up by someone in Russia. It means the patriots aren't steroids. The patriots who support the war, but not like everyone else sitting on the couch, but like with a burning fire inside. That's what turbo means. Harry Potman, howdy howdy. By the way, Harry is from Finland, in case you didn't know. And Harry, congratulations on Finland joining NATO today. Russia had this plan, well, obviously, because everyone and his brother, and I mean the politicians and the government people, have been saying to us that everything is going according to the plan. Don't you worry. And, well, I guess that's one of their plan results. Finland, Russia's neighbor, joined NATO, and Russia has gained 1,300 kilometers of border with NATO countries. And right now, from a NATO country to St. Petersburg, I think it's only a 2-hour drive. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. That alone, Putin must be answering for, But then it's not even in the Russian news. They just mentioned, oh, by the way, Moscow is having a huge snowstorm. And by the way, Finland just joined NATO. Yeah, but that's not a big deal. But Moscow is really having a big... And that snowstorm is going to move down south. And that's what we're going to be talking about right now. That's how Russian news look like today. I remind you, one of the whole huge foundation that war in Ukraine was justified by was that Ukraine was about to join NATO and Russia does not need NATO at its borders. Well, have Finland as a part of NATO right at your border. Richard Montes de Orca, good message as per usual. And Tampa, Florida is in the house. Howdy, howdy. Thank you so much. Karano, scary message. If there are bigger warmongers waiting in the wing. Greetings from a Latvian living in Germany. Love your channel, says Hesh. Thank you so much. Again, every time I see Latvian, Lithuanian, Polish, or Estonian come in here, a Czech, Slovakian, Bulgarian, Romanian, really a Hungarian really warms my heart. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. Mr. Kaliskin from Chicago. Max, not Finland, but Scandinavia. We are together in everything. We're brothers and sisters. All in Scandinavia. What happens to one happens to all of us. No problem here. I mean, I'm glad for you, and this is what I think of you. Well, the fact is the Finland joined. The Sweden will join soon, as far as I understand. There are some things to be sorted out with Turkey, and that's it. But your message is understood and taken. Thank you. Damien, Crusader Damien, thank you so much for another question. And as usual, it's a very good question. Is the Russian civil war just around the corner? Chechens are now threatening to kill all Russians protesting against the Moscow mosque build. 2 questions. That's okay. First question is about the civil war. Is it around the corner? Hard to say, but I don't think it's far away. By their stupid actions, they are nearing the civil war. Okay. I've talked to one of the thinkers here in Tashkent, and he told me literally this morning that he thinks that things will be decided by June. June is not too far from here. It's right around the corner. Will there be civil war? Depends on many things, quite a few things, but it's not far away, whatever it is. Now, question number 2. I did not hear that Chechens have been threatening to kill all Russian protesting against the Mosque. I know this issue with Moscow mosque very well because, again, One of the members of Breakfast Club is Muslim, and he has ties with Moscow Muslim community. He knows very well. He's an activist, and he basically gave me the scoop of the story. And my understanding that what is happening, you see, out of all people, believers who attend churches, I have yet to see radicals who want to kill others, who want to destroy other religions. No, quite on the contrary. If people are truly religious, they get along with other religions fine, absolutely fine. Take Tashkent, take Uzbekistan. There is Eastern Orthodox Church right next to my apartment. It's welcome, although the population is mostly Muslim, but there are tons of Christians, and everyone is a brother and a sister here. And it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or a Christian, who cares, okay? This is true, I don't know how to say it, true believing society, because we believe in one God, okay? What they're doing in Moscow right now is they are engineering the situation of unrest. There are special people that have been focused on doing certain things to fire up hate, to fire up protest, to fire up not just against the mosque, but against the Muslims. And this is, the believers have nothing to do with that in Moscow Mosque, okay? There are groups, I think, inside Russian government with their own interests that are doing that. What the interests are, I don't know. But this is what my assessment of the situation. Bad people playing bad games. It's not gonna end well. The underdog from Sweden, howdy, thank you so much for support. Are you familiar with Gleb Karaulov, an officer in Vladimir Putin's security force of FSO for more than 10 years that defected to the West a couple of months ago? You know what? I remember of one defector from FSO, and I don't know his name, but he defected to Kazakhstan. He was immediately arrested by Kazakh government and deported back to Russia. And now I feel bad for the guy, Gleb Karaulov, let me look him up. Ex-Kremlin insider says Putin is no longer... Wow. That's pretty darn strong statement. April 4th, today. Anyway, thank you so much for the heads up. I had not heard of the guy until you sent me a super chat, so I will look into it. Thank you so very much. Gleb Karaulov, huh? Interesting. Folks, but this is actually a very good proof of what I have said many times before. The West welcomes the bastards with open hearts, open arms. If you are a member of ЧВК Wagner, if you are a member of FSO and you spent entire life serving, whoever you were serving, if you are a criminal or a Russian politician and you want to defect into the West, you are taken with open arms. If you're a regular, peaceful person, try to get there. It's really, really hard. You are a member of politicians' family, no problem. They'll take you and your money. But you're a doctor stuck here in Tashkent, afraid to go back to Russia because you don't support the war that Russia is waging on Ukraine. Good luck to you, This is the system that is existing right now, unfortunately. And this Gleb Karaulov guy was able to defect into Sweden, no problem whatsoever. A plus Russian, howdy howdy. I take it you're with Lenny. Thank you. Sweden will join after Turkey's election. Like, no doubts about that. Sweden will join NATO, yes. Sean, howdy, and thank you so much for huge support. Turbo-Patriots are the end result of generational enslavement of the masses. Heavy ignorance replaced chains and is harder to remove. Indeed, a very serious threat to us all. Super on point. Big hugs. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. You have a super on description on what it is. The result of generational enslavement of the masses. Heavy ignorance replaced chains and is harder to remove. Spot on. You know what? You've said it better than me in the stream. Thank you so much. And thank you for your huge support. I appreciate it. Thank you. Mariana Sophie, Baltic Sea becomes a NATO lake. He is losing big time. He has lost big time, period. Wait a second. Yuri Salminen. Finland is not part of Scandinavia. Isn't Scandinavia, please correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Scandinavia Sweden, Norway, and Finland? Am I mistaken? You know, what? You live, you learn. Max, there's a Nordics approach to not to be mean. We just are and have always been together. Only love, Constantine. Non offense taken. I mean, you're not being mean. It's understood. You were kind of like we were with Ukraine some time ago, long time ago, you know. Web, what's disturbing to me is that the Russian and American people are so much alike. What do you mean it's disturbing? You mean small groups inside of societies or people in general? People in general are alike and it's not disturbing me in any way. KG1 is if there is a Russian military collapse, would Putin swiftly go? Would a general like Gerasimov take control? There are so many pathways right now, and that definitely is a possibility. How probable is that? I don't know. We will wait and see, and time will tell very, very soon. Vladimir Vladimirovich, 2022 NATO Salesman of the Year award. I'm not the one who said that. You did. Lawrence, you are spot on. Hey, you know, I want to share something now. Jokes aside, I want to share something real serious with you right now. Are you ready? Brace yourself. There's actually real political competition in Russia. I wanted to make an entire stream dedicated to this, but I can't wait. This is just bursting out of me. I want to tell you that we are embracing changes. You know that next year is the election year in Russia, 2024. And Putin, obviously, is going to be participating in the elections if he's alive by then. But we actually have three very strong candidates that are three more other than Putin that are actually also very heavyweight, and they have like weight in the Russian society. Now, I want to take a second break. You let me know if you have heard of this situation. It's developing right now, and who do you think those people are? Sandra Kramer. Oh my gosh. Scandinavia is Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Alright, Denmark, but Finland is not there? You live, you learn. I apologize, my Finnish friends, if I offended you. Anyway, who are the guys? Who are the guys? Do you have an answer? Pamela J. have not heard of this. Let's talk about Girkin a little bit later. I want you to hear your, Mishustin. Okay, Mishustin is... has fair... Well, Russia does not have fair elections, but it has elections, okay? And then there are candidates in the elections. So there was no real candidate from the opposition, from the other side, other than Putin. Now 3 more people. Petrushin. Patrushev, you mean? No, all right. Bortnikov. No, I will not keep you waiting. I will not keep you guessing anymore. So, as you know, Vladimir Putin, this is important now, it's like an announcement. Vladimir Putin is going to be participating in the elections. And the chances are, he used to be like 100% candidate, now it's only 25%. So, it's Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, right? Is the one guy. The second guy, his name is Vlad. The third guy is Vladimir. And the fourth guy is Vladimir Putin. And the first guy is Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, the current president of Russia. I hope you found it funny. So, 100%, one of those 4 will win the elections if they're held in 2024. Phew. I know, today is April 4th. I'm 4 days late, but hey, what do you know? By the way, there are rumors that Bortnikov is gonna go soon. He's gonna be replaced one of the deputies. If it's true, if he gets replaced, that's a huge deal. I'm gonna make a stream about the signs that we need to watch for. Those small things to an unfamiliar eye, but in reality they're huge and they show what's happening inside. Okay. Kieran Whitfield, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you. Max, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, Greenland, Norway, and Faroe Islands is Scandinavian-Don, period. Hey, no problem here. Would you classify body doubles as candidates? And there, instead of 4, there'd be 8 candidates, The underdog, Finland was part of Sweden between 2049 and 1809, and then it became part of Russia, and it gained independence in 1917. And KFK, how come Girkin hasn't been thrown out of the window yet? There's a funny theory that every single body of government thinks that Girkin works for the other body of the government. Therefore, everybody is afraid to touch him because they think that he's under protection of another agency. That's why. That could be truth. I don't know. Grab friend girl. It's scary how similar the news is in Russia and the US are. The news has so much power. Yeah, unfortunately they do. What will be repercussions to be? What will the repercussions be for Putin as a result of Finland joining NATO? Repercussions. Results? Nothing. Like he cares, you know. There will be no responsibility taken by him. There will be no actions taken by him after Finland and Sweden join. He simply has nothing to do. I mean, he has no moves left. What can he do? Nothing. The king has no clothes. Well, the Tsar has no clothes. Gosh, by my question, I brought the Scandinavian debate, you know. Please, let's chill. It's all good. It's all good, it's all NATO now. Yuri Salminen, I'm from Finland, and we're not a Nordic country, not Scandinavia. Please, my apologies, you know, sorry if I offended you. I didn't know that. I thought that Finland is part of Scandinavia. Wow. Marcus, thank you. The Turbo-Patriots demand a total war against Ukraine. But does Russia have the resources? No, it does not. The Russian army is stuck, and the next are nuclear threats. I think they're just threats, because once nuclear is used, hell breaks loose, you know. And they know that. That's the end to Putin and to everyone. Russia seems to lack conventional power, and it does. And like I just said, the Tsar has no clothes. Crusader Damien, thank you. The Russian people need to choose wisely, as Western sanctions will not automatically lift as soon as Putin is removed. We won't be fooled again like in 91. Well, yes and no. First part is absolutely right. I agree with you. And I've said it many times that quite a few Russians under a notion that the sanctions will be lifted once everything changed and the war, you know, is over. And I keep telling them, you're crazy. Because if you think that the sanctions will be... Sanctions are very easy and quick to be placed upon. But it takes years, if not decades, to remove sanctions. Okay? Anyone who disagrees with me, I give one example. I don't know, folks, if you remember or not, what is Jackson-Vanik law or Jackson-Vanik amendment or something like that. So anyway, Jackson-Vanik. Do any of you remember what Jackson-Vanik thing is? Let me know. Let me know. The majority of Russian Federation deputies have Israeli citizenship. Spot on. I agree with Maria Maksakova. Spot on. She was one of them, by the way. One of the evil ones. All right, so you have no idea what Jackson-Vanik... Is it amendment? Let me just clear it up for you. Jackson-Vanik. Yes, amendment. Okay. So it was an amendment to the Trade Act in the United States, made in 1974. It was a provision in U.S. federal law that was made to affect U.S. trade relations with countries with non-market economy. Well, Soviet bloc, really. Russia, Soviet Union, and its puppet states. I don't know, not puppet, vassal states, how to say that? Eastern European states, that were controlled by Russia, by USSR. USSR in those years restricted Jewish immigration, and American senators decided to strike back. They made this amendment, Jackson-Vanik Amendment. Basically, it forbade it gave conditions to the trade to the USSR, and everything high-tech was not allowed to be exported. So basically, Russia, Soviet Union, could not buy computers, could not buy electronics, semiconductor, anything. It was pretty efficient amendment that hurt the Soviet Union big time. But you know what? The USSR fell apart in 91, and it makes sense, right? Hey, there's no limit on Jewish immigration. Soviet Union is gone. Russia's supposed to be democratic. Yeltsin comes to the parliament, the Senate of the United States, gives his infamous speech. Russians are friends now, right? Well, guess what? They did not change Jackson-Vanik Amendment for almost 2 decades after the USSR fell apart. There was no reason for Jackson-Vanik Amendment to exist, but it did. It did limit exports of high-tech semiconductors to Russia until, I think, 2008 or 2009, when Dmitry Medvedev was the president. So they finally lifted up. But it takes very little time to place sanctions, and it takes very long time and painful efforts to lift the sanctions. Okay, so this is how it works, my friends. Anyway, then there was a second question. Actually, statement made by Crusader Damien. He said, "We're not going to be fooled like we were in 1991. I don't think you were fooled in 1991. Russia did become different. The USSR fell apart, and Russia was actually on a pathway to freedom and democracy throughout the 90s. I could talk more and more about it, but it's like doing another stream. So you were not fooled in 91. No one fooled you. Russia was fine until 2000, until Putin came into power. Okay, so I disagree with you on the second part of your statement. Jason Carney, thank you so much for coming back and supporting. I really appreciate it. Thank you from me and Natasha, from bottom of our hearts. And thank you for giving sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Great to see you coming back. Subminuentish. Great message. It feels like we're repeating World War I, World War II. Some Russian people I know are talking about what sounds like the Dolch Tomsch. If I could read German so fluently. Dolch Stos Legende. Legend. Do you think we're going to repeat World War II? Well, I don't think World War II is the word. I think World War I is what's happening right now. And what's going to follow is, 20s and the 30s in Russia. We're going to repeat Germany in the 20s and the 30s. And that really scares me. That's what the Turbo-Patriots are about. Because in Germany, there were also Turbo-Patriots, and we all know some of their names. still even today. We remember their names. And I'm so hoping it's not going to happen in Russia. Max, yes, go out and buy shovels so we can dig big holes again. Why? Time's up. Seeing the Nightbot. Okay, I'm seeing that. Wayne, ex-KGB does not make a leader. Really hard to disagree with you, you know? Kate Dexter, in 2002, Putin said that Ukraine can become member of NATO allies. Well, you know what? In 2002, Putin was running around, and this biggest idea was Russia would join NATO soon and be accepted as a real part of the West. And he gave numerous interviews about that. It was like Russia's general idea to become part of the West and to join NATO. Jimmy Penrose from Edgecombe, Maine. Howdy, howdy, Jimmy. Say hello to wonderful state of Maine from me. The way life should be. Mets fan, please pray for Wall Street Journal employee Ivan Gershkovich. I think Ivan. Hang on. I think he's gonna be traded to one of the Russians who is in the United States. He's probably gonna be convicted based on false premises, false evidence, and he most likely will be shipped to the United States in exchange for some Russian politician's relative or something like that. Last question. Edward Binder, can you do a stream on the Russian-Ukrainian Orthodox Church and the difference between them, please? Oi, Edward, probably not, because I'm not huge expert on this issue, on this thing. And in order for me to do a stream, I would have to spend an entire day learning everything about this topic. Probably not the most pressing issue in Russia right now, so I will leave it until better days. Sorry. Caesars, I missed your super chat. Thank you. It's quite changed from strategic point of view. NATO controls the waterway because between Tallinn and Helsinki now. Yes, it does. Absolutely. And don't worry, everything is going according to the plan. Ruble seems to be falling sharply in April. Airborne Snail, it's very unfortunate for me, but I'm losing a lot of money right now. But yes, it's been losing. A lot of value. It has lost 60%. Remember those Patriots, Turbo-Patriots running around saying, oh, ruble is so strong, Russian economy is doing so well, Fudge them. Crusader Damien, we see fires and explosions in Russia almost every day on the news here. Is this propaganda? No, it's not. You're probably not seeing enough because I think most of them don't make the news. I'm seeing a bigger picture than you because I see the official news. I watch them. I'm forced. I'm sorry. And I also get the real news from the media outlets outside Russia and from numerous Telegram channels. And I tell you, there are many explosions and many fires. But you know what? Russia is feverish right now. Of course, things like that would be happening every single day, every week. Russia is not well. Russia is feverish. There are Turbo-Patriots. There are different forces inside Russia, different actions, different groups have different goals. It's a huge mess, and it's gonna get even worse. Russia probably is something like Russia was 100 years ago in the beginning of the 20th century, when Russia was feverish and it ended up with Tsar being, resigning. Jekyll N, thank you. Missed all your live show. Daylight saving here. I'm sorry. Please come back tomorrow. There will be another one. Thank you. Thank you so much for your message as usual. Thank you. My friends, I would like to finish today's stream in second super chat from Jekyll. Thank you. Is it like, did you hit double the button? If you did, then don't send me next one. That's okay. I would like to invite you to the stream. Thank you so very much for coming. Let's pray. If you're religious, and if you're not, then pray with me anyway. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it sending good wishes, good vibes, good energy, anything. But let's try to change this world for better. Just a little bit, at least, Let's do it. Dear God, our Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables. Thank you for giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them healthy and safe, and give us wisdom to keep skies above their heads peaceful and blue. Give us wisdom to raise them the way that when they grow up, they become good people and they will be friends to each other. Never be involved in any wars and never be fighting each other. Dear Lord, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people who are responsible for making such decisions and have them wake up from their lethargic sleep. Have them see what has happened, what kind of tragedy has happened in Ukraine. Have them become terrified. And they have them stop making the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help every Ukrainian who has been affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Please send every Ukrainian an angel so the angels keep people out of harm's way. Please help my country, Russia, send the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Have it run by the angels. Have it make it right, make it good, make it a good neighbor, make it peaceful, make it so no one is afraid of Russia anymore. Please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels, help everyone who is seeking for asylum. Send good people and send your help their way. Please help all Ukrainians who are in Ukraine without electricity, warmth, heat, hot, cold water. Please send your help their way. The kind of help that would allow to fix everything and have all necessary things supplied to people again. Please help all the hungry, the homeless, the jobless, the sick, the depressed, the ones with low self-esteem, and the ones who are feeling terrible about themselves. Please shine your heavenly light upon those people, each one of such people, and send them your love, heavenly love, straight into their hearts so they feel better and they have another chance in life. Please send us all peaceful skies. Give us enough wisdom not to engage into the wars anymore. Give us wisdom to be peaceful, to be friendly to one another. Fill our hearts with love, forgiveness, and mercy, so we love one another, not fight with one another. I'm asking for all the women who are pregnant and in the process of making decision whether to keep their babies or not. Please reach out and speak to each one of them, whisper onto their ears, and so they make the right choice. Thank you so much for bringing us into this community and allowing us to pray together. Please help everyone who's praying right now or watching us pray. Please make everyone's prayer heard and answered and everyone's wish come true. I would like to ask for some people who need your help. They are Greg, Bip, Jim and Shirley Hall, Delaney and her 2 children, Ann Larson, her family and daughter, Florentina, Carolyn Rydnor, Max family, Sherry Morin, CKOC, Brian Wilkes, Liz Dumbrell, Ripted, daughter of Aspen English, Ruth, the friend of Darla, please send recovery, Paul, Faith, brother, Susan, Rudy Kaisley, Ivan Gershkovich, Wayne, thank you for helping him out and help some more, please. Shirley and Debbie, Jen Ellen, Finola, Lars Henrik's mother, the Highwayman, Amanda Rydnor and her roommate, Essie from Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Choriz and family, David Porter and family, and everyone from Chernovtsi, Ukraine. Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Lazarus, Boss Salmon, Alvin's sister, Teresa D, Marsha Tucker, Garcia Castellanos, Terry Carter, Joe and Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Deanna and her family, Bree's friend, Caroline, Albina Fell, Michael Yukin, Pamela J, Lindsay, Joel, Life, Karine Vasseur, Larry, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Igor, Karen from Maine, Janine, Michael Milkowitz, Marlene, Paul Binns, Richard, Mallory M., Dirk Misler, James Rhodes, Terry, Richard Burris, Angelic at Life, and Scan's family grandson, Grace, Barb, Randolph, Nelly, Arkady, and Yuri in Mykolaiv, Ukraine, Harry's family, Verlinda's niece, Ian James, Dog, Rafaela From, her daughter Anna, Priscilla, Michelin, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade Kaltenberg, Allison Dave Moyers, Maureen M. and her sister, Mr. Hansen, Heidi, Bob, Rob, Matt, Ashley and family, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church, Our Savior Lutheran Church, Lisa Kumrian, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Amy, Treasure, Kyle's wife, Maggie, Carmen's sister, Vladislav and his father Sergey, Susie Myler, Gina Wayfarer, AMS paramedic Liz, Lori Miles' husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mother, Thomas Fall and his mother, and I would like to ask for a few special children. They need recovery and be healthy, and their families need strength to go through hard times. They're Cadence, Maverick, Sebastian, Coulter, Theo, Madi, Karin Vasseur-Nice, and Ansley. Please help them, send recovery, and also help every child in need right now, in need of recovery, who is sick. Also asking for all children of Ukraine who have been affected by this terrible tragedy, and all children who have been affected in Russia. Thank you so much, dear God. Our Lord Jesus Christ, amen. My friends, thank you so much. You know, it means a lot to me. I'm so glad that every day we have a couple thousand people pray. Couple thousand is a small stadium, you know. This is something else. Thank you again for coming, giving me a chance, listening and watching. You are absolutely awesome, and you rock, and you rock and roll. Thank you for being here. I will see you tomorrow in another message. Before I go, I would like everyone to say out loud with me, you know what to say. Carthago delenda est.